All right, guys, we're looking for a common denominator and an equivalent fraction. 6.4. How can you rewrite a pair of fractions so that they have a common denominator? We're really getting into adding and subtracting fractions. I get excited about this. So let's get started. Sarah planted 2 1-acre fields. One had 3 sections of flowers and the other had 4 sections of flowers. She planned to divide both gardens into more sections so that they could have the same number of equal size sections. How many sections will each garden have? So you can use a common denominator or a common multiple of 2 or more denominators to write a fraction that has the same number of wholes. Okay, that was really wordy. It just means we are looking for the common denominator of both fractions. So here are her two gardens. She has this one in 3 equal parts, and she has this one in 4 equal parts. But she wants them to be in the same, to have the same amount. So what is she going to do? So she divided 1/3 into a fourth and divided a fourth into a third. Each of the wholes will be divided into the same amount parts, the 12ths. Because if I take this and I put 4 in here because I want it to be the same, not real equal, but, and I did this one in the thirds, how many equal parts do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Those are exactly the same. How many equal parts do I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So both of these are in a 12th. And I have a 12th equal parts. So how can we do that with just a fraction without drawing it? Well, I look at here and I say to myself, write a common denominator or an equivalent fraction. Now remember, equivalent meant the same. So how can I make these two the same? Well, we went through equivalent fractions before, and we have to ask ourselves, what multiple of 3, so remember when we found equivalents, we did 3, 6, 9, 12, and then we had to find the multiples of the 4, 8, 12, and here's our least common multiple, so we know they both have 12 in common. So, but now what we did to the denominator, we have to do the numerator. So I took 3 times what to get me to 12? Well, I said 4. So 1 times 4 equals 4. And I did 4 times what got me there? 3. Now I have a common denominator. I've switched them into their equivalents. Now I have a common denominator, so I can just add straight across. So 4 plus 3 equals 7, and my common denominator is 12. So when I added those together, it was 7 twelfths. So how many equal parts did I get? Oh, I'm sorry, right down here they said to do this. I rushed it. So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24. So we have here 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32. So we have a lot of common denominators in here, but I will just give you a helpful hint. It is best to go with your lowest common denominator. Because if I would have done 24 down here, my number would have changed up here. So let me just show you the difference here. So if I would have said 24 here, 3 times what got me 24? 8. Here I would have done 24. 4 times 6. Then I have 14 24ths. I have to simplify. So what can go into both of these? Well, 2. So if I divide them both by 2, I get 7 twelfths. Wasn't it easier to do the common denominator right off the bat? The least common denominator. So both garden sections have 7 12th sections. Okay? All right. So we are going to find the least common denominator for these two fractions. So remember, the first thing we do is the multiples of 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. I'm not going any further. Let's do these of 6, 12. I don't have to go any further because I now have found a least common denominator. So the least common denominator of this is 12. So here's our second part. So we put 12. So we're looking here as an equivalent fraction. So we did 4 times 3 got me to the 12. So I have what I did to my denominator, I have to do to my numerator. So 3 times 3 is 9 twelfths. So I have 9 twelfths. So 3/4 can be written as 9 twelfths. But guess what? That's really not simplified because I know they're both divisible by 3. So I have 3/4. Is that not equivalent to it? It is, but that's not going to give me my. So I could rewrite it as 9 twelfths. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing with 1/6. And here was my multiples of 6. So 6 times what? 6 times 2 got me to 12. I got to do the same thing up here. So it's 2 twelfths. Now if I was adding those together, guess what I could do? 9 twelfths plus 2 twelfths equals 11 twelfths. And it even works with subtraction. Sorry, 2 twelfths. So if I had 9 twelfths subtracted by 2 twelfths, it would be 7 twelfths. So it works both ways, whether you're adding or subtracting. But you have to find those multiples. And if you know your multiplication, you don't even really have to think about it because they're just going to show up in your head for finding that least common multiple. Because if I look at 6 and 9 and I want to find a common denominator, so I'm going to think about what do they have in common. Well, if I quick go through, and as I'm going through the 6s, I'm thinking of the 9s. 6 times 1, 6, 12, 18. Oh, what did I figure out? They both have 18 in common. They both have a common multiple of 18, so it's 18. So 6 times what got me to 18? 6 times 3. 6 times 3, or 1 times 3 is 3. And 9 times what got me to 18? 9 times 2. So 1 times 2 equals 2. So we're going to start just looking for the common denominators because that's what adding and subtracting fractions have all in. That's what you have to do. It makes it simple once you figure out how to quick get the common denominator. So I just look at here, what common denominator does 3 and 15 have in common? So 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. Well, right away I know 5 can go into 15, so what's my common denominator? 15. I want to see the multiples of 5 till you get to it, please, so I know that you know you're doing this till you get to it. So I would like you to do 3, 4. Skip this page. No, I'm sorry. No, don't skip. Do this page. Let's see what we got here. Let's see. Find the least common multiples right here. I would like you to do 5 through 8. Oh, let's do 5 through 11. We're going to skip these and see if we can come back to them. I think you guys can do them. I know you can. Skip this page. All of this are all fraction evens on this page, please. No, you don't have to do number 12. 1 or 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Then go back, guys. I hope there's time. I hope this is starting to go. I would like you to do 12 through 14 because you're going to go deeper later.